All right. Hello, guys. Welcome to Chat Jamaican. You know that I am your lady Tania. Let me just get some more people to join in on the live. Today, we're going to have a very interesting live. And, guys, I just want you all to come in so you can inform everyone to come and to be a part of the live. All right, so let us welcome Javion, Deron, Shelly, all of those who have joined in already. Thank you for being here and for coming on to the live. All right, yes. So, guys, I have here with me Miss Donette Winter, and if you had watched my previous video, you would have seen Mrs. Winter before, and she's doing a great job here in Jamaica. So we are totally happy to have her here. But what Miss Winter is going to do, she's going to introduce the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the state of the African diaspora. So, guys, I want you to tune in, I want you to listen, and I know that this session is going to be a very informative one. All right, so guys, let me just hand over to Mrs. Winter for her to do the introduction. You're muted.
Thank you so much, Tania, for having me.
Yes,
It is a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you.
yes,
And
definitely.
it is my esteemed pleasure to introduce you to an exceptional human being, Mr. Brown, which is part of the reason I decided to call him up when I met you. And I felt that whatever I said, he could say it a whole lot better.
Yes,
And like you said, he is Minister of Foreign Affairs for the state of the African Diaspora. And just in case some of your guests right now may not be aware of that, of what that is, I remember I mentioned that it is a borderless state. It was initiated by the African Union, and it is existing wherever we have Africans in the diaspora and on the continent. And of course, in case we don't know how strong we are more than 1 billion strong. And so Mr. Brown can give you so much more history and context and information as far as that is concerned. So he is Minister of Foreign Affairs for the states. That means it's for the entire state, not just for not just for Jamaica. He's not the Minister of Foreign Affairs for Jamaica. He's the Minister of Foreign Affairs for the state of the African diaspora. And so he has a global office, just like you would have the Minister of Tourism and Sports and Finance and so on. So Minister Brown, I'm not seeing him on the call yet. I'm hoping he will join
yes,
us soon.
he's here.
He's here?
He's here with us.
Ah,
Yes.
wonderful. So Minister Brown is an amazing human being, an excellent public speaker, and he is an engine and behind the state. He's an innovator, an initiator. And I'm sure, Tanya, this evening is going to be an amazing evening and you will learn so much. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Minister Kenyama Brown.
And Donette, I want to thank you for being here and all the best. All
Thank
right.
you so much, Tanya. Blessings.
Yeah.
I will connect on the
All right.
YouTube. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi,
So we have here with us, guys, Minister Kenyama Brown. All right. So,
hi.
Mr. Brown, I want to thank you for being here. And the first thing I am going to ask you, because I'm being honest, this is the first time I'm really hearing about the state of the African diaspora. Can you explain the role of the state of the African diaspora?
Well, it is as Donette had alluded to earlier, it is an organization that saw its genesis sometime around 2017. Ideally, it was formed out of the Charter of the African Union. So I think the framers of the African Union knew at some point through um, its formation at a later stage, they wanted to reconnect with the lost children of Africa, which is us. And so they believed that there needed to be a very structural way to create this reconnection. And so they had placed in their charter that there should be the creation of the state of the African diaspora, which will represent the sixth region. And essentially, Africa in and of itself is divided in 5 regions, which is North, South, East, West, and Central Africa.
Okay.
So just similarly to us in the Caribbean, where we have CARICOM as a region, but in particular the Eastern Caribbean states have also formed themselves into an economic bloc, which they even have their own currency, which still doesn't go against what CARICOM is. So in Africa, it's pretty much the same thing. You have the African Union, but you do have the segmented economic blocs. For example, the West African states, which is Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia. These are considered the West African states. You also have SADC, which is the Southern African states, which is South Africa, Botswana, and so on. So they typically identify the diaspora as a 6th region, which is the region that represents the lost children. So when you speak of South America, Central America, North America, and even Europe and parts of Asia. So we are the manifestation of this. So it was not until 2017 when, like CARICOM again, the leadership of the African Union is a revolving chair. So different heads of states within the African continent assume leadership of the African Union. So it was sometime around 2017, the then head of Mauritania assumed leadership of the African Union and sought to operationalize this tenet within the charter. And so he had summoned Dr. Louis George Tin from France, who was the head of a major Black advocacy organization in France known as CRAN. And he had invited him to start the state of the African diaspora, which he had went out. He had set about, created a constitution, created a government with an executive, 2 vice prime ministers. He created a cabinet with ministers, which I'm humbly serving.
Okay.
He created a parliament with a parliamentary speaker. And they also created a diplomatic corps, which has ambassadors.
So you operate like a government. It's a government.
It was essentially a government. Yes, yeah. that is the. So what we seek to do is to take a structured approach of the diaspora, because when you really think of the diaspora of Africa, it is really anywhere outside of the African continent that we have people of African descent living. Anywhere they reside, we represent the African diaspora. So by the creation of a state of the African diaspora is one such way of galvanizing and organizing and really drumming up the support of all the creation of a state of the African diaspora. So we seek to do it in a very structured way. So that is essentially who we are and what we seek to do.
Okay, and that is very interesting and unique.
I must first, before you go any further though, yeah. I am in a very laid back attire. I am not in my usual outfit as minister, so please, I don't want the wrong impressions to be formed. It's a very laid back time at this time of the night, and I have consented to come most willingly, but I understand that I've looked at your program and realized a very relaxed setting, and I really want this kind of approach. So yes. We're very much a government, and we operate under the same precepts as most politicians operate.
All right, I was reading something about citizenship. All right, so what do you offer the citizenship for? Is it within Africa, or how do Jamaicans apply for the citizenship that you guys offer?
Currently, the citizenship program is on offer. We have sort of, it is still there, but essentially we have not really moved on it because there are some technological limitations that we are currently working on to correct. Um, we are also looking at developments taking place on the African continent because for us as a state, our official currency is the African Kingdom's Lumi. And Lumi is a currency that was first started in the Caribbean, in Jamaica,
Yes.
in the Maroon communities. And it has really transcended there and has moved on to the African continent where the African Kingdoms Federation have taken it on.
Okay.
So it's really much different. So it's no longer the Lumi that we know in the Maroon communities. The African Kingdoms Federation have now embraced it as an official currency.
So and then go ahead.
The African Central Bank and the African Financial Regulatory Authority has also recognized it as an official currency on the African continent.
Okay.
Yes.
What I want to ask, it's so you guys are now the largest state.
We currently would represent the largest state, but as you know, we started in 2017, so it is still a work in progress. So the citizenship is one such way of galvanizing the support. So as you had asked me earlier, which I don't think I had sufficiently responded.
Yes.
But the citizenship is the way in which we are going to be using to galvanize the support and to build our membership throughout the diaspora. Okay. So when you, in the future, when you speak of SOAD, it will be synonymous with the African diaspora. So it will be all of us.
All right. So you have the Ghana Tour 2021 coming up, and I realize that it is an all-inclusive trip. Now, can you give me any information about the trip and how?
The Ghana trip essentially is a very bold move that we're making because one of the missions of SOAD is really to bring the diaspora to the continent and the continent to the diaspora. And as Marcus Garvey had said in many of his writings and his speeches, it is really Africa for Africans, and it is really a coming together and essentially a repatriation. But the repatriation it takes many forms. It's spiritual, it's educational, it is cultural, it is physical. So we in SOAD believe that we want to break the barriers. We want to bring the diaspora back to the continent. We want to demystify some of the age-old beliefs that
yes,
Africans are of a particular way and we are not like them and we are different. And by going to Africa is one such way of changing some of the age-old sort of wrong way of thinking and looking at things. Because I've had that personal experience myself. I used to think Africa is a place laden with poverty and all different kinds of things. And not until I went to the continent for my first visit in 2017, my first stop was Kenya. And I was blown away. And as a Jamaican, I was saying to myself, Kenya was as if I was in Jamaica. Now, prior to this, the images that I saw in Western media, when you spoke of Kenya, you either saw people running long distance, or you saw people with the red shawl over them with the little stick in the hand and very skinny and walking beside an animal. That's the image I had in my mind. But Kenya is like anything else, big cities, big skyscrapers, same setup.
They're a beautiful country.
Beautiful country. And you know what? More than anything else, as a Jamaican, I was taken aback. we as Jamaicans only understand the power of our nation when we leave the country. And when I went to Kenya, all of the dancehall, dancing and music and everything that you see we doing here, they have taken it on. It's a thing that the young people do in Kenya.
Yes.
So our influence
So the
is very
cultures are similar.
profound. Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Yes. All right. So, a part of the trip, there is a business partnership where there
Business
are
Expo.
investment opportunities. Can you explain that a little bit more?
I will. And one of the, as I had mentioned, all of some of the ways in which um, you do that repatriation, but one such way that I had deliberately not mentioned was the economic one. And
Oh,
fundamentally, this is a important part of the trip because what we want to do is to link businesses in Jamaica with businesses in Ghana. Ghana is roughly a 35 to 38 million market. Jamaica is a 2.4 to 3 million market. Now, I believe that if our business people have used their ingenuity and innovation and certainly business acumen to eke out a sustenance
yes.
to survive in our market with all its limitation and challenges and survive, then can you imagine what we will be able to do if we enter a market that is much larger, far greater? And these are the kinds of business linkages that we
That are
want. And
needed.
the truth of it, the Ghanaians would prefer to do business with their African brothers as opposed to the Europeans and Chinese that they've always been exposed to. And I think they always want to have new and different products. They want to see new and different business people that they can embark on a relationship and certainly build it. So this is essentially one of the benefits of what we're doing because we are bringing people from the different sectors, from the private sector, manufacturing sector, agricultural sector, in persons education and health, so that whatever opportunity that can be derived economically. And this is the very reason why we have designed specifically within this trip to have business expos. So we have met with the Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. So they are going to be putting on their businesses for show, and we will do the same. So we're hoping that through this exchange, some genuine business opportunities can be derived and certainly can carry on from this. So this is what we're doing essentially.
And then the packages will be worth it for Jamaicans who are interested because we would have surmised that all Jamaicans would have been welcome. But the cost
Yes.
and everything, how does it go?
The cost is roughly 4,000 US. That's the cost. If the person has African Kingdoms Lumi, we also create a facility that they can pay some of it in Lumi and the rest in fiat currency, which should turn out to be somewhere around 2,500 US and the rest in Lumi. We will also take that as well.
Okay. And that, so, all right. So why Ghana though? Is it that it's a yearly thing or
Ghana, we chose Ghana for strategic reasons because sometime in 2019, Ghana was one of the African countries that had embarked on a year of return. See, what we are doing in SOAD is really just, it's part of our mission, but it is an overarching consciousness that is taking place, taking hold in Africa in a very tangible way. In other words, it was always something that Africans always spoke of, thought about, which is to reunite with the lost children. But it
yeah.
has never really happened. But Ghana had embarked on in 2019 the start of the year of return campaign. And this meant that they were basically opening the doors and inviting back lost children from the diaspora. All of us from South America, Latin America, South America, Central America, North America, Europe, Asia, wherever we are, come home. So they have been, it's been a campaign that started then and it is still in train. And they're looking at progressive legislation also to really add greater punch to this return, such as I know they are currently looking at fast tracking citizenship for many of the children of the diaspora. So what we're doing is essentially coinciding and essentially complementing the Year of Return campaign at Ghana. And to be very honest with you, since we have embarked on this Ghana trip and have been moving forward, we have been approached by the government of Sierra Leone through their honorary council, Dr. Rosalie Hamilton,
Yes.
for us to do a similar initiative with Sierra Leone. And their arms are wide open and they're ready to go. And Sierra Leone, like Ghana, have some historical significance because if one knows, Ghana is essentially one of the territories where, for us in the Caribbean, we could say that's where a lot of our ancestors, where they're from. Sierra Leone equally has also, some of our ancestors are also from Sierra Leone, but also Sierra Leone also was the place where some of the slaves that once they were freed had found their way back to the continent and settled in Sierra Leone. Liberia had some of that as well. But Sierra Leone was one of the places that many of the freed slaves had returned. So there is some historical connections.
All right, so I have one question here from one of our subscribers from Angor, and Angor is asking, please ask the minister about buying property there as a foreigner.
See, this is also one of the things that they, as part of the Year of Return, they have also had relaxed policies for diaspora citizens to come back and buy property. And there's a tremendous amount of opportunities there where that is concerned. For land, for agriculture, buying property. But equally, there is a rich exchange that will take place because Ghana, in truth and in fact, also manufactures cars. They have a brand of SUVs, I think, called Conquer. I don't remember the name exactly, but you can Google it. And it's very sturdy. It has all of the modern features that you would find in any one of these most recent cars. And I believe it is something that we want to, through this relationship that we're establishing, to also create links in this side of the world so that we can also help to stimulate trade.
All right, so guys, remember, if you want to ask your questions, you can just leave your questions in the comment section, and I'm sure Minister Brown would be happy to answer your questions on your queries that you have.
Yes,
And
I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, so what I want to ask you though, is it too late to register and to be a part of
No, actually it's not too late. I think the flight is slated to leave on the 19th of November. And I believe we may have until maybe another 3 days or so. I have to really check. I don't have the information in front of me. I'm sorry. Pardon me for that. But another 3 days, so it's still not too late. Coming to Africa requires a number of things. One of the main things that you need to do is to have your yellow fever shot. That's the customary thing. And then I think thereafter, what will be needed is of course, you have to do a PCR test, not an antigen test, but a PCR test that has to be done 3 days before. And then when you get to Ghana, we are going to be subjected to another test. So those are just some of the protocols that has to be known. But the yellow fever shot is going to be the most important one that has to be done.
Okay. All right. So I'm seeing here I am marketplace. I guess they will be going because he's saying great job, Minister Kenya Brown. See you in Ghana. So I
Yeah.
know he will be a part of the trip. Please, what is the name of the money he's they use in Ghana?
I think Ghana, I don't quite remember the name of it. It's something, but you could Google that.
Okay. All right. So Angor is asking how much is the return trip? So
For the
it's
trip to Ghana, that's
yes.
what it's 4,000 US, as I
All
said
right.
earlier.
So it's a all inclusive
It's an
package.
all-inclusive trip. It takes care of ground transportation, hotel, ground transportation, hotel, and there's some tours in between as well that we will also go on. So it
Okay.
involves that. The truth be
Okay.
told, the flight is to be a direct flight from Kingston to Accra, Ghana,
All
and it
right.
is it's a direct flight. It will be a chartered flight because we believe that our ancestors came from Africa on a direct ship from the continent to here, and we need to return. When we initially started the planning for this, all of the airline routes that were available to us required us to either connect to South America or Europe, and we felt that that was just certainly not on the card. This trip is symbolic for us, and it's a mammoth task because right now, to be very honest with you, we are still working out the logistics because to take a charter direct flight is not that simple feat. It's a lot of mechanics in between. It's connections with the civil aviation authorities. There's planning that has to be taking place. So we are going through all of those things as we speak.
Okay. All right. So is there anything else you want to add? I'm not seeing any more questions in the comment section, but I do know that, guys, it is an all-inclusive package, include accommodation, everything, tours and business, because you can do both, right,
Yes,
Minister?
you can.
So
Yes,
both,
there'll be two business conferences that will be held that
yes,
we are organizing this with the Chamber of Commerce in Ghana, and we are essentially doing this in two places, one in Accra and one in Kumasi. So we are doing this to essentially engender that kind of support for our business people to showcase whatever they have and for them to do the same and for to create an environment where some meaningful and constructive engagement and exchange can take place.
and you know who would benefit from this? The young people, young entrepreneurs, young
Young
business
entrepreneurs,
people.
small business people would benefit from this
Yes,
tremendously
yes,
because even people who are hairdressers and people who do nails and all of these things, these are a lot of skills that Africans need. Not that they
yes,
don't
and it
have
will.
it,
Oh, they have
but they
a
need it
large
to have a
market over
they have a
there.
large market. So
So
these are some of the things that they definitely need. So there is some tremendous opportunities for this. And my only take I would say is that this what we're doing is not the end all be all. There are other initiatives that are on the horizon and we are continuing to work. Whatever it is we're doing is to help to entrench and deepen the relationship between the diaspora and the African continent. It comes with it its fair share of challenges, which we
yeah,
understand, some of which are unfortunate, some of which is the only natural. But if we are committed to doing something, we just have to go through all of the pains, all of the challenges, and do what is it we need to do. And
yeah,
there have been some disappointments on the way, and but that's life. You know, life will have its fair share of disappointments. We
yes.
just simply have to continue.
Yes. All right. So I am Marketplace was saying that we came on slave ships and we're going back on spaceship. Spaceship. We're going back on spaceship and our
Yes,
aircraft. Well, we're definitely going back on the aircraft. And we
yes,
know that I'm telling you, Jamaicans, and I would really want the young people to be a part of this, because they are the ones that are going to be our business leaders into the future. So parents, if you have the opportunity to send out your 18, 19, 20-year-old and let them get this experience to see a larger market out there, because they have a lot of people. So when you enter their economy and start your business, trust me, you will grow.
I
So
think ultimately what we want to do is to from this trip, and not this trip
yes,
only, because this trip is not the end all be all. Um, we are going to be very deliberate in fostering the relationship. We have some other projects on the drawing board that we hope to actually implement, which is to establish an exchange program between young people, similar to what happened in the past, a program called AFS. We want to do something similar, which is to have young people from Jamaica to live with host families in Ghana, for
very
them to go back to
interesting.
school, for
Yeah,
them to be involved in sports, just like how some of the athletes are coming from Zimbabwe to come to Kingston College and
so they
running
can
and
do training and all of that and
training and
learn.
create that whole exchange. We want to do some of those things. I personally benefited from exchange program in my life. I was a former AFS student in 1993. I think myself and the reggae artist Shaggy, his wife,
Yeah,
was also a fellow AFS participant. She was a year after me, but we went to the same country, Colombia. Rebecca Packard Borrell. Um, I went to Colombia. Today, I never wanted to go to Colombia, but I had an opportunity. I took
to
it.
go
I
there.
went there during the time when Pablo Escobar was still alive and on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And today, I am fortunate enough to see on Netflix they have a whole series on Narcos, and it's just um, they are recapping things that took place in the past. And I have just been so fortunate to have been living during that time. And today I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish fluently, and I've just benefited tremendously. And I believe that there is a tremendous amount of opportunity that can be derived from cultural and cultural exchanges.
Yes.
And so we want to embark on those as well. And that's part of one of my responsibilities as foreign minister for SOA that
So
we're going
every
to be embarking on.
yeah, so if you're focused on this though, Anne was asking how can she get information on future trips? And also, will you be engaging with other African countries going forward into the future?
Well, as I had indicated earlier, that since we've been doing the promotion for Ghana, we have been approached by the Sierra Leone government to
Yes.
do a similar program, and they also have a similar year of return program, and they are looking at citizenship similar to Ghana, and we want to do Ghana first,
Yes.
and then once we're done that, we plan to move to Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And there are some other countries that we're planning to embark on, similarly with Liberia, because Liberia's president, the former football star George Weah, he Liberia and Mauritania has been the first two continental countries, African continental countries, that have recognized SOAD as a state. So we are currently working to have a minimum of 6 countries from the African continent that will recognize SOAD as a state without borders. And this will enable us to have that status ratified by the United Nations, and ultimately will see us having greater capacity and greater coverage in terms of diplomatic protection, passports, you name it, and so on. But we are moving strength to strength.
Okay, all right. So let me just address one of the comments. So Desi John, let us do it right here in Jamaica. We don't have to go 8,000 miles away to do business. And let me tell you, Desi John, if you go 8,000 miles away to do business, you're promoting yourself. you're assisting yourself, you're selling your country, you're building and developing so that you can also learn and come and give back. So when they do go to another country, to Ghana, you when they return, they will have knowledge and other experiences that they can contribute to their development of their country. So they will also benefit because they're becoming great business people. So that is what I have to say on that.
Well,
Also,
if I could add, because I think it's important that I say that
yes,
in a previous life, I worked in the government, and I learned a fundamental lesson that I never understood. We always heard the business mogul, the late business mogul, Butch Stewart. He always said we must export or die. And I never understood because I never saw our tourist industry as anything that we were exporting. I never saw it that way. But the truth of it, we are exporting. So the truth of it is when we go to Africa, 8,000 miles away, what we are doing is benefiting Jamaica by exporting what we have. And the exportation doesn't always have to be physical products. It is also expertise. It is also a culture. It is what is in our culture that is big reggae. Reggae is literally the music that Africa listens to. Unfortunately, I still don't get the impression that many of our artists have fully embraced this concept.
and we have a lot of our artists over there right now. You'll see
We
them from
do,
time to time put up
we
videos
do,
doing their
we
shows
do.
because the market is large over there for them.
I have, funny enough, in another life again, I'm part of the management team of the reggae artist Richie Spice. So I actually went to Kenya with Richie Spice. So I can tell you he's huge in Kenya. But when I said that the artists in Jamaica have not fully exploited this opportunity, and that is primarily because they go to Africa to perform concerts, and that's fine, and that's par for the course. But when I mean fully exploited, I mean when an album is launched, some of our artists need to start launching their albums in Africa and doing tours to promote their albums in Africa. I think unfortunately today, most of the albums that are launched are either launched in Europe or North America. And I think that is Africa is a large market. I never understood this until I went to Kenya. And when I realized I was in Nairobi and someone said to me, Kenyama, Nairobi has over 15 to 17 million people. That's just Nairobi. So when you have that kind of population size, and yes, they spend money too. So
Yes,
if
yes.
your pursuit is money, they spend it too. So if we believe that there's nothing to be gained, well, the Chinese always tell us every country that you see, no matter how impoverished or how laden it is with crime and violence, Chinese are always there setting up a business and making money. That's
Yes,
the
yes,
reality.
and it doesn't matter how low income of a society it is, they know that the people will purchase their products or whatever it is that they
Any
have.
conversation we have with Chinese or Indian businessmen, and they will tell you the poor people that we believe don't have spending power, those
Yeah.
are the people you make the most money from.
And they're going to buy, they're going to come and see what you have, and that is how you're going to be successful. So
Precisely.
that's the unity that they have. Just another question. Where are some of the places that we're going to tour? And really, what kind of business? We're talking about business, but what kind?
Various types of business. As I told you about, the car manufacturers will be there. Other companies that are involved in the service industry, technology, all different kinds of companies are signing on right now in Ghana because they're excited to meet us, to be honest with you. So it is, we are receiving a number of indication that many persons from different sectors across Ghana are going to be there. And we are equally doing the same, bringing people from our manufacturing sector, from the service industry, from agriculture to do the same thing. You know, there's many things that we will be exchanging
Yes.
culturally and otherwise.
Okay. All right, guys. So I'm not seeing any more of your questions, but I'm seeing, I don't know if you can address Desi John for me. Desi John is saying Africa is poor, and why would Jamaicans leave here to go to Africa and to do business and all of that? So I don't know if you can give
Let
a,
me answer Desi John. Very simple.
yes,
Desi John is a creature of his upbringing and a creature of Western, the portrayal of Africa by Western media. Africa, yes, has some unfortunate um, poverty issues. That is, but tell me the country that doesn't have this.
yes,
I have in a previous life had the opportunity to live in Canada, working in Canada as part of a government program. And when I was there, I went to places in Canada, in rural Canada, places like Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island. I've lived there, and those are considered rural Canada. And they had poverty. People couldn't find their regular daily meals. But like anything else, Western media has always portrayed Africa in a less than positive way. I will assure you that in any one of these African countries, there is an upper class, there is a middle class, and there is a lower class. Africa is no different. But
yes,
it is these kinds of thoughts that Desijan have that gives greater value to the trip that we are embarking on. You won't know it. It's almost like a former slogan that Jamaica used in our tourism campaign when we said, once you go, you know. Well, I say the same in this particular instance. Once you go to Africa, you know. So Desijan, I can't fault you for saying the thing that you said, because to tell you the truth, if I'm honest with myself, I thought some of the same things too. But not until I went myself, experienced it, when I saw it, felt it, tasted, that's when my life changed.
yes,
So it is opportunities like this. And again, let me say this, let it not end here. But the return doesn't always have to be a physical one. Mind you, we exist in the virtual space, so nothing is hidden anymore. Google is always there. You can Google, you can see all of the major cities in all of
YouTube.
these countries,
Just
and you
typing
see
in the
YouTube,
countries
and
on
you see
YouTube. Yes.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing is hidden. So rather than having some preconceived notions, seek and you definitely will find.
Fine. And then that is one of the main reasons for the trip too, guys, for you to get the experience to see that
Indeed.
what you have been taught and what you heard is not actually what it is that you're going to see. You're
That's
going to
it.
see a total different thing.
It's a
All right?
totally different thing. That's
Yes.
correct.
All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions. Oh, Sadie saying you should watch Wademaya. He will show you how beautiful Africa is, and that is true. How beautiful Africa is, plus the countries there have less crime than countries in America, and that is so true. A lot of the African
It's
countries
true.
there are less crime, you know.
There's less crime, but a lot of the African countries are tremendously wealthy. They're not even
Yes,
rich, they're
and
wealthy.
they're
Because they're
well.
wealthy with mineral resources that will just literally blow your mind. They have gold, cobalt, uranium, they have diamonds, emeralds, you name it, petroleum, bauxite, everything that we believe we have, they have it and more. And I went as far as to say this. Solar is the energy resource of the future. Fossil fuel as we know it is in its last days. The Saudis, who are the greatest producers of petroleum, or one of the major producers of petroleum in the world, they have started investing in alternative energy almost 15 years now, because they themselves knows that there is a timeline on fossil fuel, and they believe that alternative energy is a fuel, which is the main alternative energy um, system that is available is solar. And again, Africa, which continent has the most sunlight? It's Africa again.
Yes.
Because solar is, there are technologies that exist that will enable us to harness the energy of the sun in a liquefiable and transportable form. So
Yeah.
solar energy, as you know it, will now be trapped and utilized with things like liquid hydrogen that we can now store it in a liquefied and storable form that it can be transported, just like what you do with your regular fossil fuel. Which is
Okay.
to say to you that solar is that resource for the future.
Okay. So Barbara is saying, I love beautiful continent. I would live there now. All right. So Africa is definitely beautiful indeed. I'm looking to see if I see any more questions. I'm not seeing any more questions. So, guys, if you have any final questions, you can leave it in the comment section right now. But we all should be happy that Minister Brown took. Can you explain your name, please, Kenyama? It sounds African. It's what is the
Um,
origin of your name, Kenyama?
my name, well, I was given my name by my aunt,
Okay.
and my aunt Helen, her name is Aunt Cherry, really. And I was born in 1976. My late father, was very deeply involved in track and field. He's actually the pioneer of the San Diego track and field
Okay.
program as we know it today that has produced so many Olympians. Um, but it was at a time when the consciousness was just so high. Michael Manley was the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and
Mm-hmm.
he had started to change a lot of legislation that favored more Jamaicans and certainly Jamaicans of African descent. So
Yes.
the names was just a part of the whole consciousness. Bob Marley was singing loudly and beautifully and doing
Mm-hmm.
great things and thrilling the world. So having an African name was a thing to do. So my aunt gave my parents the name Kenyama, which
Okay.
means son of a warrior. And my middle name is Bikela, which is a part name of the late Ethiopian great marathon runner known as Abibi Bikila.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is where my name is from. And I guess sometimes things may happen in life that I believe that you never know what the purpose of it is, but I think me being here today is in fulfillment of destiny. I was
Yes.
given that name because someday I was going to be doing something to help to serve my people, but to also uplift the people, but to also strengthen the ties between us and our motherland.
Okay. Okay, definitely. So, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the state of the African Diaspora, you said that it is the sixth state, right?
Repeat
That's it?
that?
The state of the African Diaspora. It's the sixth state?
The sixth region, yes, yes,
Sixth region.
yes, sixth region.
All right. So we are truly happy to know more about that and everything. Sadie says she has a question. What is the Oh, I'm not
Could you
sure.
hold 1 second? I'm having some difficulties with the sound. 1 second. Uh, uh, wow, I'm just having some difficulties with the sound. Let me check.
Okay, I'm hearing you clearly though.
Hold on. I'm just trying to improve.
Okay. You're hearing me now? Oh, so we lost Mr. Brown there. But guys, and Mr. Brown do if Minister Brown do comes back into the comment section, we just want to thank him for being here, being a part of the program. And guys, I do know that you would have definitely learned a lot from the state of the African diaspora, and we would have now learned that there are 5 regions originally in Africa, which would comprise most of the countries making up those 5 regions. And then this region now would be the 6th region, which includes people in the diaspora, and they would be a part of the state. All right, guys, I know that it was a very informative session, and we just want to thank Minister Brown for participating and for giving us information that we are truly blessed indeed to have. And we have Sir Brown here with us, and I do know that he's ready and hearing us clearly now.
Yes.
All right. So, what are your final words with everything?
My,
What do
my final word is really just simple, just to say to everyone that what I'm doing is nothing different from any one of us. It is we must first understand that we are all Africans and we were brought here under circumstances which perhaps we don't know at this time, but we must always believe that we are Africans and we also must connect with our fatherland. As Muta Baruka once said, which I found it a little amusing, he said, a cow was born in a hog pen is still a cow, or a cat who was born in a pig pen amongst pigs is still a cat. So it
Yes,
doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're still an African.
an African. All right. So, guys, let us leave with that note. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're still an African. Thank you so very much,
It's
Minister
my pleasure.
of Foreign
Yes.
Affairs. I want to do thank you. And, guys, this is where we're going to end the program. And can they reach out to you? Or do you have a website? How do they go about getting more information to read on their own?
Well, well, this you can also know about SWOT from you could type the state of the African Diaspora.com, the state of the African Diaspora.com, and in Jamaica, um, we have a special purpose vehicle that we created for SOAD and Eco6, which is represents all economic bloc that we are a part of. It's called the Jamaica Lumineer Secretariat, and there are numbers that I will provide you that I don't have in front of me right now. Partly for that.
Did you spoke
But I
about the
think Donald,
Lumi?
I touched on the Lumi a little bit, but I didn't
Oh,
touch on it entirely because I spoke more about the trip in Ghana, which I did mention a Lumi, and I told you that for the SWOD, for the state of the African, our official currency is the Lumi.
Lumi.
And I did say that it saw its genesis in the Maroon towns in Jamaica, in ACCOMPONG to be exact, but it has moved from ACCOMPONG and has gone on the African continent. And the rest
Okay,
is
so it's
history.
okay. So do you have any knowledge as to why it was removed, or they just made a decision of not to continue?
I think there are a number of reasons. I think when the creator of the Loomis started it, Mr. Timothy McPherson, who himself is a Maroon,
Okay.
was born in Canada, grew up in Germany, but his mother is from Nanitown in Portland. He's actually the cousin of the current chief, Chief Sterling. He started the Lumi. Actually a financial engineer. He started the Lumi and started the agitation in a compound. I believe they had made overtures to the financial authorities here, and they were not having it. Sadly, the Lumi started a digital currency, which I believe is perhaps one of the first digital currencies of the world. And when I say digital currencies, it is not to be mistaken with a cryptocurrency. The Lumi has actually a central bank that oversees its operation. So it oversees its distribution, its circulation, and so on and so forth. And it started here, and the approaches were made to the Bank of Jamaica, and they never gave it the time of day.
Yes.
And I think similarly, there were some upheavals within the ranks of the Maroon community in ACCOMPONG that also further exacerbated the situation. But
Yes.
innovation can be continued. Innovation will always flourish, and
Yes,
the
but
flourishing
know that it is a digital currency. How is that flowing now, knowing that it's now digital?
first of all, it is flowing very well because it's traded in almost over 150 countries. I think on a daily basis, on average, it's seeing $1 billion in transactions. Now, what people must understand is that people equate transactions to being if I take a Lumi and I purchase it at a shop or a gas station to buy gas. Of course, it doesn't have that buying yet, but it is getting there. However, one of the fundamental important factors of Loom is that it was created to engender trade within the African communities. And when
Okay.
I say communities, I mean both on the continent and in the diaspora.
So about how
I
many
have to go.
countries?
It's over 150 countries in the
Okay.
world right now. Currently, the last check, and it could be more. Um, for you to be involved in the Lumi right now, you would simply go into your Google Play Store if you have an Android phone, and you type ECO, the number six, LUMI. So it echoes the number six, LUMI, and download your wallet, get registered, and every month they have a global stimulus package which started in 2020, which is slated to end in October 2023. But every month you will get 6.26 Lumi in your in your electronic wallet, which is equivalent to 100 US per month. Now, let me put all of this in context. The Lumi was created to engender trade amongst the African community of the world. Now, let's draw some parallels. If we compare the Indian community, Chinese, and Jewish communities, on average, these communities, which are largely merchant communities, when money goes into these communities, it circulates for about 30 days. One of the things that makes us common as African, doesn't matter where we are, whether we are on the continent, North America, South America, Central America, and even parts of Asia. One thing that is common with African communities that we are largely consumers. We consume. We don't produce. We don't trade amongst ourselves.
Yes.
So it is common that when money goes into African communities, it stays on an average of 6 hours. So initiatives such as the Lumi is really to engender greater trade amongst ourselves. So if in the rural community, Mass Joe say him have implant 20 acres, we're saying to Mass Joe, sell 19 but put aside 1 acre of the produce and trade it amongst yourselves for Lumi. Now it sounds rather weird for us to say it, but I can say something to you that will blow your mind. Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, but it's a currency nonetheless, because people use it and extract value for trade.
Yes.
It never had no acceptance by none of the mainstream financial system, and to this day still doesn't. However, it started in the Asia, in Korea. It
Okay.
was started by someone named Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who he is or wherever he is. It has a platform called blockchain that facilitates the ledgering, all of the transactions to take place.
Okay.
And the trade started in Korea. And then it's moved from Korea within the communities on that local level, and it moved over into the Korean diaspora, and the trade continued. And that trade continued until it morphed into something else where other people start tapping into the very same community and trade. So
Okay.
we're simply saying, through the use of the African kingdom loom, we're going to be doing this very same thing. So don't see it as foreign. The problem we have is that when we look at the loom, we say, oh, we need to change it and get how much US dollars. That's not what we're doing here.
Yes,
What
yes.
we're doing here is to engender trade amongst ourselves.
Cells.
This is why for God, our official currency is the loom. So this is what we're doing. So we're not only just thinking of trade by or to engender trade by bringing people there. We're
Yes,
also engendering trade by also adopting a currency that we believe represents us as Africans
people.
and us as people in the diaspora and for those in on the continent. This is what we're doing. And the innovation started here in Jamaica. But as I said before, history will always tell us that Jamaica, one of our maybe it's fortunate and unfortunate at the same time, but it's unfortunate because we frown upon our own innovation. But when we look into it, when Marcus Garvey was innovative with political thought and Pan-Africanist views, he was frowned upon in Jamaica. It was said that he was a genial, he was a liar, he was a thief, he was all of these, he was a
Yes,
charlatan, all of these things. But
yes.
he left Jamaica shores, went to North America, and built an organization of over 10 to 15 million blacks that had his own newspaper, companies, businesses, restaurants, you name it, laundromats. Now, we can say whatever it is we want to say about Marcus Garvey, but you certainly can't be no fool to get 10 to 15 million people to follow you
Okay,
and
so
to have the kind of infrastructure that he did.
yeah.
Marley innovated with reggae music. When
Mm-hmm.
Marley decided to innovate, travel the world, and spread the message of Rastafari and reggae, we laughed at him, we even tried to kill him here in Jamaica.
Yes.
But when we frown upon him, that he decided to move, leave our shores and go somewhere else. So this is why I say that it is unfortunate, but at the same time fortunate.
All right.
But
So
we frown upon our own
does it
innovation.
has a value?
It has a value. Currently, it's valued at 15.62 loomies. 15.62 US dollars give you one loom. That's the value of it. And the
Okay.
value of it is equated in 100 kilowatt of solar energy, which is equivalent to 4 grains of gold. And that is what we
So
use
one
to
lumi is 15 US dollars.
know it is 15.26 US dollars that will give you one loom.
15.26 US dollars. Wow.
Gives you loom.
That is good.
So,
That is
so,
good.
so one of the things that when the Lumi was adopted by the African Kingdoms Federation, many of the kingdoms had pledged much of the gold that they have in their reserves to also support the currency. But as we say, you don't necessarily have to use your resource to really back your currency. But the fact that it is there to do so is enough. But you don't have to actually put it in a storage facility and put it there and then tell the world that all of this gold here backs that alone, the perception alone is enough because what we're going to be using is market forces. So as similarly like Bitcoin didn't have any value when it started, but through market forces and trading, this is how it developed and garnered the value that we see it has today. It is anywhere around 12,000 to a higher 40. I don't know where it is because it fluctuates.
Yes,
So
yes. Okay. All right, sir. So thank you so much for being
it's
here.
my pleasure.
I
My
don't see
pleasure.
any more questions. So
My pleasure.
guys, thank you for watching Chat Jamaican, guys. Little more. All right. Bye. No,
Take
but
care and
let
all
me
the best.
encourage them though. So
Yes,
remember that it's
encounter.
not too late for you to be a part of the exciting trip. Remember, it's both
Not too late.
business and tours. So it is a great opportunity for you. I know that it is sudden, but the opportunity awaits. All right, guys?
And also tell them that anyone with a Android, you can go in your Google Play Store and download, type ECO, the number 6LUMI, to download your Lumi wallet. If you don't have an Android
Can
and
you
have an
repeat
Apple
that?
device, it is going into the Google Play Store if you have
Yeah.
an Android phone and search ECO, the number 6LUMI, one word.
So Eco
And
6 Lumi.
Lumi. That's correct. And download that. If you don't have a Android device that's an Apple device, you can simply go to the website and type platform.swiffin.com. And I think I need to explain this quickly. Ethereum uses Etherscan. Um, Bitcoin uses blockchain. Blockchain, these are the platforms that they trade on, that facilities. For the Lumi digital currency, the platform that is used to do all of the trading and ledgering is Swiffin, which is a platform that was created by Africans on the continent, and also they also reside in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So this is also an innovation. It has all of the latest technology from QR code reading. Um, the Lumi is also very good for taxation purposes, because if governments adopt Lumi and
Yeah.
things such as taxes can be deducted in real time. So let's say small businesses who are doing business on a daily basis. I tell people that small businesses have problems with taxes because they have to be spending so often. Whenever it comes, they delay tax payments, and when the time comes to pay taxes, because you get caught in all of the expenses of the business, you find yourself always behind. But when you have the digital currency Lumi, it enables you to collect taxes in real time. So this is one of the benefits of having the Lumi currency. Unfortunately, I see the Bank of Jamaica um, doing a pilot for its own digital currency, probably four years later.
Yeah.
And a digital currency was created in Jamaica 4 years prior. So, as I said before, we frown upon our own innovation, but such is life. I guess maybe if your own door frown upon you, then it means you're not doing something. So the rest is history, but we continue to be faithful, we continue to be positive, and we continue to just ask for God's richest blessing to help to guide our steps and to lead our thoughts. I thank
Okay.
you so much for this opportunity today.
All right.
To
So it was
you,
a pleasure, as I said before, having you. So, guys, this
yes.
is where we end tonight live. So, if there is any information, you can always reach out. I guess the website is the state of,
The
what's the
African
website?
diaspora,
The state
the
of the
state of
African
the African
Diaspora.com.
diaspora. And you can also check with the Jamaica Luminaire Secretariat. We have some information also as well. You can type Jamaica Luminaires at gmail.com for information.
Okay. All right, guys.
And
So, take.
Luminaires is spelled Lumineers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, guys, have a great night wherever you are in the world, all over the content. Be
Yeah.
blessed, and thank you for watching Chat Jamaican. Little more. Bye.
All the best. Thank you.
All right.